There has been an absolutely crazy news story that shocked the whole country of Japan. Normally I wouldn't make this kind of video, but once I digged a little deeper into the news story, I just had to talk about this. And what's so insane about this situation is not the horrible crime that was committed itself, but what happened afterwards when the sentence was given. So let's start from the beginning. On August 20th, a 58-year-old Japanese politician named Tamotsu Shiiki approached a young girl in the nightlife alley of Kabukicho in Tokyo. Shiiki asked for her age, and upon hearing that the girl was 12 years old, Shiiki promised her $100 if she came with him to somewhere private. He took her to a karaoke box where the store clerk assumed they were a parent and a child, but was still slightly suspicious of them, so he placed them in a room where he could easily check up on them in case something happened. When the clerk did eventually check what was going on in the room, he caught Shiiki sexually assaulting the young girl. Shiiki tried running away before the police could be called, but luckily they were able to catch him quickly afterwards. After being caught, Shiiki tried to explain that he hadn't planned for anything to happen, even though he had visited a store beforehand to buy lubricant. He also claimed that he didn't really understand what happened, trying to blame everything on some other personality. His final excuse to try and get away from the situation was that he should be spared since he didn't have the time to ejaculate before the store clerk came to stop them. If you think these excuses are ridiculous, don't forget that this is a man whose job was to be a lawmaker. But what has made many Japanese people more than furious about this case is not only the act itself, but the sentence that was given to this politician once he pledged guilty. Many of us have heard that Japan has 99% conviction rate, meaning that once you become a suspect, the justice system does everything they can to pressure you into confessing to your crimes, even if you aren't guilty, in order to maintain the illusion that the system is working and criminals are being punished. This means that many innocent people get judged guilty due to the pressure from the legal system, which makes many punishments unfair. However, even if the people are guilty, like in Shiiki's case, it does not mean that the punishments are fair, as we will soon see. Before we go to the sentence itself, let me explain the reasons things turned out the way they did. In Japan, it is extremely common that sexual assaults are not taken seriously enough. Even if a victim goes to the police, they are often pressured to not file a case. It is common for the police officers to use every trick in the book to try to get the victim to not file for a case, like for example, suggesting that the legal action will be too difficult or that they shouldn't want to ruin the perpetrator's life. This leniency toward sexual crimes extends to the court system, where sentences are often shockingly light, especially when the victim is an outsider of the Japanese society, such as a foreigner, homeless person, someone with mental illness, or, like in this case, a runaway kid. This is why in Japan, if you're a foreigner and the police finds you with a joint in your pocket, be ready to spend the next 5 years in jail, after which you'll be kicked out of the country with a lifetime entry ban. But if you're a Japanese politician who rapes a 12-year-old runaway child like Shiiki, you'll be sentenced to only 3 years in prison, suspended for 5 years. Most of you probably think something along the lines of, 3 years sounds pretty light, I can see why people are upset. But no, let me explain. The sentence was 3 years, suspended for 5 years. And what that means is that Shiiki will only go to prison if he commits another crime in the next 5 years. In the simplest terms, Shiiki will not go to jail and he was simply told to not do it again. And that is insane. He literally a child and got zero punishment. As you can see, I can't even talk about what he did here on YouTube without being demonetized, but in Japan, you can ruin a child's life and just walk away without punishment as long as you're a politician. This is why Japan's justice system is absolutely cooked. On top of innocent people being punished, those who actually commit horrible crimes are able to walk away as if nothing happened, as long as they have money and power. Now you can probably understand why, according to polls, 84% of Japanese people consider the government corruption a huge problem. So whenever you travel in Japan and wander its beautiful, clean and safe streets, remember that even the most pristine garden has rot beneath the soil.